The Union of the Centre, whose complete name is Union of Christian and Centre Democrats, is a Christian democratic political party in Italy. Lorenzo Cesa is the party's current secretary, hence its leader.Pier Ferdinando Casini, who was long the most recognizable figure and practical leader of the party, distanced himself from it in 2016. The UDC is a member of the European People's Party and the Centrist Democrat International, of which Casini served as president from 2004 to 2015. The party was formed as Union of Christian and Centre Democrats in December 2002 upon the merger of the Christian Democratic Centre, the United Christian Democrats and European Democracy. In 2008 the party was the driving force behind the Union of the Centre, an alliance comprising, among others, the Rose for Italy, the Populars for the Constituent Assembly of the Centre, the Liberal Clubs, the Party of Christian Democracy, the Christian Democratic Party, Veneto for the European People's Party, the Democratic Populars and the Autonomous Democrats. Since then, the party's official name was neglected in favor of the alliances, and, since most of the UDC member parties have joined the UDC too, the UDC and the UDC started to overlap almost completely to the point that they are now undistinguishable. The UDC was part of the Pole House of Freedoms from its establishment through 2008. Later it has been affiliated neither to the centre-right nor the centre-left at the national level. Despite this, the party takes part in several regional, provincial and municipal governments with Forza Italia, the largest force of the Italian centre-right, but recently formed alliances also with the centre-left Democratic Party in other regions and at the very local level. In the 2013 general election the UDC was part of with Monti for Italy, the coalition formed around Mario Monti's Civic Choice. More recently the party, which sits in the Renzi cabinet, has sided with the Angelino Alfano's new centre-right history. Foundation and early years. The party was founded on 6 December 2002 by the merger of three parties: the Christian Democratic Centre, the United Christian Democrats and European Democracy. At the 2001 Italian general election the three precursors of the UDC had scored 5.6%. Follini and Buttiglione became respectively national secretary and president of the new party. At the 2004 European Parliament election the UDC won 5.9% of the vote and 5 MEPs. The party's growth was reflected by Follini's entry in Berlusconi's second cabinet as deputy prime minister with the goal of strengthening the government while diminishing the influence of Lega Nord. At the 2005 regional elections the UDC and the House of Freedoms faced a severe defeat by winning only 2 regions out of 14. Follini asked Silvio Berlusconi to resign and form a new government. In the new executive Buttiglione became Minister of Culture, while Follini stepped down from his previous post in order to concentrate on the party. On 15 October 2005 Follini suddenly resigned from his position as party secretary and was replaced on 27 October by Lorenzo Cesa, an ally of Casini. The party took part to the 2006 general election with a new logo characterized by the inclusion of the name of Casini, who also headed party electoral lists in most constituencies. Despite the defeat of the House of Freedoms, the UDC improved its electoral performance by gaining 6.8% of the vote from Berlusconi to the centre. In October 2006 Follini, a harsh critic of Berlusconi, finally left the party to form a new grouping, called Middle Italy, which was eventually merged into the centre-left Democratic Party upon its foundation in October 2007. This was the fourth split suffered by the UDC in 2 years after three much bigger scissions led respectively by Sergio D'Antoni, who joined Democracy as Freedom, the Daisy in 2004, Gianfranco Rotondi, who launched the Christian Democracy for the Autonomies in 2005, and Raffaele Lombardo, who formed the Sicilian-based Movement for Autonomy later on that year, after the departure of Follini. However, Casini became highly critical of Berlusconi too and further distanced the UDC from him. A fifth major split happened at the end of January 2008 when Bruno Tabacci and Mario Baccini left the party because Casini seemed eager to rejoin Berlusconi for the upcoming election. After that, the Prodi II cabinet had not passed through a vote of confidence. Shortly afterwards, when Casini refused to merge his party into Berlusconi's then new political movement, the People of Freedom, the UDC was joined by the Rose for Italy of Tabacci, Baccini and Savino Pezzata, as well as by two leading members of Forza Italia, Ferdinando Adornato and Angelo Sanza. On the other side, the UDC was left by those who wanted to continue the alliance with Berlusconi. Carlo Giovanardi and his faction joined the PDL, citing that the 72% of UDC voters wanted the party to do so. They were soon followed by many others. Union of the Centre. On the 28th of February 2008, the UDC announced that they would contest the 2008 general election under the banner of the Union of the Centre, allied with the Rose for Italy and other smaller groups, notably including the populars around Ciriaco de Mita, a former leader of Christian Democracy and previously a member of the Democratic Party, who stood as candidate for the Senate. Despite having lost many votes to its right, the UDC was able to woo some new voters from the centre-left and gained 5.6% of the vote, 36 deputies and 3 senators. Soon after the election, Mario Baccini, one of the leaders of the Rose, surprisingly left the UDC in order to join the People of Freedom. After the election, Casini relaunched his plan for a new centrist party as an alternative to both the PDL and the PD. This is what he called the Party of the Nation, open to centrists, Christian Democrats, liberals, and reformers, even though he presented it as a party based on Christian values, as opposed both to the PD and the PDL, which, despite being a center-right party, also included social liberal factions. Casini long criticized the PDL for not being Catholic enough, particularly criticizing Silvio Berlusconi, who once spoke of anarchy of values in describing the catch-all nature of the PDL, and Gianfranco Fini, who was known for his social liberal stance on stem cell research, abortion and right to die issues, and explicitly wooed the Christian Democrats of the PD to join him. In the 2009 European Parliament election, the UDC won 6.5% of the vote and 5 of its candidates were elected to the European Parliament, including De Mita and Magdialem. In the 2010 regional elections, the UDC chose to form alliances both with the centre-right and the centre-left in different regions, depending on local conditions, losing ground everywhere but in those southern regions where it was in alliance with the centre-right. Back in government. In December 2010, the UDC was a founding member of the New Poll for Italy, along with Future and Freedom and the Alliance for Italy. The three parties, which were supporters of Mario Monti's technocratic government in 2011 to 2013, later parted ways. The UDC contested the 2013 general election as part of the With Monti for Italy coalition, alongside FLI and Monti's Civic Choice. The election was a huge defeat for the UDC party, which obtained a mere 1.8% of the vote, 8 deputies and 2 senators. After the election, the party joined the Letta cabinet with Gianpiero D'Elia as Minister of Public Administration and the Renzi cabinet with Gianluca Gaietti as Minister of the Environment. In February 2014, during the party's fourth Congress, Cesa was narrowly re-elected secretary over D'Elia, who was then elected president. The UDC ran in the 2014 European Parliament election on a joint list with the New Centre-Right. A Christian Democratic outfit emerged from a split from the PDL in its final days. The list obtained 4.4% of the vote and 3 MEPs, 2 for the NCD and 1 for the UDC. In December 2014, the alliance with the NCD was strengthened with the formation of the Popular Area Joint Parliamentary Groups. In 2016, Casini did not renew his membership to the party, which was thus deprived of its most recognizable leader. Additionally, while still being part of the government and the UDC chose not to support the yes in the 2016 constitutional referendum and to distance from the NCD, rejecting any notion of a joint party ideology. Although it is the most vocal supporter of social conservatism in Italy and can be easily connected with the Christian right, the UDC is usually identified with the political center in Italy, thanks to its roots in Christian democracy. However, The Economist once described it as a right-wing, sometimes reactionary party, which stretches a long way from the center. Moreover, it read that many UDC members are die-hard corporatists who get most of the votes from the South, where many households depend either on welfare or on public sector employment. Indeed, the party is stronger in the South and especially in Sicily, where public sector employment is widely spread. The UDC was an independent-minded and often reluctant member of the House of Freedom's coalition from 2002 to 2008. The party's leading figure, Ferdinando Casini, was critical Silvio Berlusconi's leadership over the Italian centre-right and presented himself as a moderate alternative to populism, which, in his view, denoted the alliance between the People of Freedom and Lega Nord. UDC's main goal, similarly to that of the democratic movement in France, was to form a government beyond the left-right divide and the dream of reassembling the remnants of the old Christian Democracy Party and to control Italian politics from the center was a long-standing one. In this respect, Casini and his followers have long tried to form the nucleus of a third force in Italian politics. This centrist option has not succeeded yet. The UDC has remained a much lighter force compared to Berlusconi's parties, which have drawn most former DC voters, and Italians like confrontational politics based on alternative coalitions, and many would support a two-party system, in place of the typically Italian fragmented political spectrum. Finally, several political scientists think that the return of DC is all but likely, as the political unity of Catholics is not repeatable and it would be anti-historical to try uniting all strains of political Catholicism in a single party. Moreover, although Casini and his followers are keen on presenting themselves as moderates, the solid social conservatism has harmed the prospects, while FI has been popular also among secularized middle-class voters. Knowing that, Casini tried to open his party, through UDC, also to non-Christian democratic, centrist liberals, and reformers, while wooing former DC members affiliated with other parties, especially the PDL and the center-left Democratic Party. On the other issues, it is relevant to state that the UDC is one of the main supporters of nuclear energy in the Italian political arena. Factions. At the 2007 National Congress there were basically 4 factions within the party. Casiniani, led by Pier Ferdinando Casini, Lorenzo Cesa and Rocco Buttiglione. The faction included also Mario Tassone, which controlled more than 15% of party delegates, Michele Vietti, Luca Volante, Francesco D'Onofrio, Maurizio Ronconi, Francesco Bossi and Antonio De Poli, and gained the support of at least 45% of party members. Tabacchini. This group, which had the support of the 30% of party members, was basically the left wing of the party, including leading politicians such as Bruno Tabacci, Mario Baccini and Armando Dionisi, who were formerly close allies of Marco Follini. They proposed to start a cooperation with the Democratic Party of the formation of a centrist party open to figures like Luca Cordero di Montesmerlo and Mario Monti Cuffariani. This third group consisted in the southern faction of Salvatore Cuffaro, former president of Sicily, and was somewhat critical of the centralist-styled leadership of the party. This group, which included Calogero Mannino, Francesco Saverio Romano, Giuseppe Naro and Giuseppe Drago, held the 10% of the party delegates and supported the Casini-Cesa line, although its members had been often friendlier to Berlusconi. In September 2010, most Cuffariani, led by Romano, left the UDC to form the Populars of Italy Tomorrow and support the Berlusconi IV cabinet. Giovanardiani. It was the group led by Carlo Giovanardi and Emerenzio Barbieri, who wanted closer ties with Forza Italia and the other parties of the House of Freedom's coalition, including Lega Nord. At the Congress, the bid of Giovanardi for the leadership was supported by the 13.8% of delegates. Before leaving the UDC in February 2008 in order to join the PDL, Giovanardi and Barbieri organized the faction as Liberal Populars. The three main schisms suffered by the party between 2004 and 2006, Middle Italy, Movement for Autonomy and Christian Democracy for the Autonomies, were led by the most vocal supporters of each of the last three factions mentioned above, respectively Marco Follini, Raffaele Lombardo and Gianfranco Rotondi. By 2010, virtually all Giovanardiani and Cuffariani had left the party through the Liberal Populars and the PID. Popular support. The UDC has been historically stronger in the south than in any other part of the country. At the 2008 general election, the party won 9.4% in Sicily, 8.2% in Calabria and 7.9% in Apulia, while only 3.8% in Liguria, 4.3% in Lombardy and 5.2% in Piedmont. In the north, the party was better placed in the northeast, 5.6% in Veneto and 6.0% in Friuli Venezia Giulia. The electoral results of the UDC in the 10 most populated regions of Italy are shown in the table below. Since 2004, the results refer to the UDC. The 2006 refers to the combined result of the UDC and of l'Aquilone Lista del Presidente. The personal list of UDC regional leader Salvatore Cuffaro. The elected members of this list were all UDC members. Electoral results. Italian Parliament, European Parliament, Regional Councils, symbols. Leadership. Secretary, Marco Follini, Lorenzo Cesa. Deputy Secretary, Sergio D'Antoni, Mario Tassone, Erminia Mazzoni, Salvatore Cuffaro, Armando Dionisi, Michele Vietti, Antonio De Poli, Mauro Lai, Giuseppe De Mita. Head of Political Secretariat, Lorenzo Cesa, Armando Dionisi, Antonio De Poli. Spokesperson, Michele Vietti, Francesco Piernati, Antonio De Poli. President, Rocco Buttiglione, Gianpiero D'Elia. Administrative Secretary, Salvatore Scerci, Giuseppe Naro, Salvatore Rugri. Organizational Secretary, Mario Baccini, Renato Grassi, Amadeo Ciccanti, Giuseppe Galati, Francesco Savrio Romano, Antonio De Poli. Party Leader in the Chamber of Deputies, Leader.Pier, Ferdinando Casini, Gianluca Gaietti, Giampiero D'Elia, Giuseppe De Mita, Rocco Buttiglione. Party Leader in the Senate, Francesco D'Onofrio, Gianpiero D'Elia, Antonio De Poli. Party Leader in the European Parliament, Vito Bonsigno, Iles Braghetto, Carlo Casini, Lorenzo Cesa.